written by HughEhhoule. Looks like we have a decent little following of people here all of a sudden. Am I preparing you for the darkest corners of your world, or just filling 15 minutes of your time? I don't know, but I like to think in the back of my mind that I've been doing at least a little bit of good. Sometimes in my line of work you get a bit jaded. Not shock, same thing happens to better people than myself in all kinds of normal jobs. But without sounding melodramatic, I have to say there's a special kind of hollow that comes from seeing the kind of monstrous filth that Corners of Reality contains. Bringing down the vibe a bit there, wasn't I? Sorry about that, I don't tend to have much interactions with folks. Hazard of the job, I guess. Let's liven things up a little bit, though. Last time I went over one of the nastier examples of the supernatural. This time, well, I can't say it's a Disney movie, but moderately less tortured death. So why bother telling you? Isn't this about learning to protect ourselves from the things that go bump in the night? It is, and this will be more than full of ways not to end up as a torture slave for a millennium, but this entry is mostly for folks who want to go a little deeper into this dark world I am the tour guide of. If you are not interested in taking risks with your mind, body, and spirit, I suggest avoiding the rest of this entry. But if you think you might have what it takes to dip a toe into my pond, I can't stop you, I can only give advice. By now I'm sure you've gathered that we are in no way talking about your grandfather's flea market. If you haven't, there is a long list of books to read before this. This is going to require a little preparation, a little risk, and a keen eye. But if you pull it off, you very well might get a leg up on any shambling horde that wants to take a bite out of you. First thing to do is find the flea market nearest to you. If there are multiple flea markets, pick the one with the least amount of business. This is down to the penny and does matter. If you're not sure, do not keep trying. Abort mission, move cities, and wait at least a year before trying again. One day, maybe I'll talk about the resellers, but they are a whole entry to themselves. Long story short, they prey on folks who screw the ritual up. Take your time and find the stall doing the least amount of business. Make sure your guess is right, because it's too late to turn back now. If you are unsure, it's better to sell your home for $2,000 to bribe someone to find out than to give up. Once you find this booth, strike up a casual conversation. If the conversation starts being about the 1993 Chicago Bulls, say, "I respect your opinion, but we will have to agree to disagree," and leave without breaking eye contact for as long as possible. If luck is on your side, you won't wake up with a set of disembodied hands peeling strips of you away. Not really though, the real consequences would get me, my account, and likely anyone who heard this banned. If things are going well, the person will tell you, "I know it's slow here, but I make most of my money at the flea market across the street." You now have 30 seconds to get across the street. Better hope you scoped out the path beforehand, because there is no allowances given, and the consequences for failure have no words in English to describe them. If you are successful, when you open the door across the street, if there was nothing to be considered a door, this will happen when the street is first crossed, you will be in a large, strange building. The first thing you will notice is the thick pall of smoke in the air. If you have sensitive lungs, this may be a problem, but this smoke is the only thing keeping you, and all other entities, from suffocating. What, you thought everything breathed oxygen? The next thing you're going to notice are the other entities. This is not like the Candyman shop. They can see, smell, touch, and hear you. Be polite. Actually, be friendly. The thing is, the human standard of beauty is pretty universal. things with entrails dragging, pus dripping skin, or any other of the weird shit you are going to see, they know are nasty. And they are a bit sensitive about it. If you can't legitimately get over this and talk to them, just smile and nod. But this isn't really recommended. You see, for as diverse as it is, the flea market is a pretty tight-knit community, and they expect this from new members. It's a tightrope. The more you talk, the better received you are, but 90% of these things have some kind of BS detector. So don't expect your acting skills to let you schmooze your way in. The entities will generally be curious and friendly, but keep your guard up. This is one of the safer places you could wriggle your way into, but that does not make it safe. Killing you would be about on par with shoplifting. This is a good metric to judge how much shit you are in at any given time. The building is divided up into 4 areas: food, weapons, normal sundries, paranormal sundries. Food. If you can think you can find it, and unlike the candy shop, your cash works just fine. Though most merchants will be happy to trade other more esoteric things for their culinary concoctions. I once traded a memory of being kicked in the balls for a happiness-flavored popsicle. Personally, I think it was a win-win. A common tradition for humans is to find a group of entities. Just like us, they sadly tend to group by type, and show trust by asking to eat some of their food. Do your research before trying this. Most of the entities you find here are decent enough, but you have to realize you're dealing with things that can take a shotgun blast to the face without issue, and none of them have much experience with people. What they might think of as a food-based prank on par with loosening the top of a salt shaker could leave you vomiting stomach lining and intestine. I find this one of the best ways to gain information, and sometimes even a new contact or two. Remember, the types of entities that are here are pretty similar to the types of people at a regular flea market. Cast-offs, old folks, weirdos, and slackers, usually more than happy to chat your ear off. Weapons. Don't get too excited, we are not talking about cyber tanks and magic ballistae. We are talking the paranormal equivalent of gas station knives and stun guns. This isn't to say you can't find a few neat things if you look hard enough, but don't expect something that's gonna take down a dragon. Also, don't expect a dragon, not real. But you can likely find something that will put a dent in most things that are ruining your night. The area is ran mostly by what we call the malignant, but you'd probably think of them more as demons. If you don't remember my talk about demons from before, go back and read it. It's actually a funny catch-22. As you can guess, the maligned are assholes with a circumference so large that philosophers have spent thousands of years trying to figure it out. But weapons cause all kinds of harm. It's what they do. So, the maligned actually love their jobs. It literally gives them a high to spread harm. So, generally, this is going to be one of the more friendly places you can be. What do the maligned look like? Anything they damn well please, really. Okay, I'll give you the non-dickhead answer. Here, they generally appear as a real type A, Chad, yuppie asshole, with some major characteristic exaggerated. Height, bulk, junk. Something about them is going to give you pause. Don't pretend you don't see it. These are probably the easiest things to please when it comes to flattery, just be honest. Seriously, they're going to radiate intimidation. Don't think for a second the fact that they sound like cartoon villains who are going to close down the rec center fool you. They can be hard to do justice to without witnessing one. Best I can do is give you a couple of my lines I've used that have gotten some goodwill. Your fingernails look like they could easily pull out my tongue. Your presence makes me feel lost and alone. I've just realized I couldn't defend myself against you if I tried. Holy fucking shit, what are you? I know what you want to know, though. What's the best thing you are going to find? Hard to say. Depends on what you're willing to pay and who you ask. But me, best thing I've found, handgun, didn't need reloading. Shot ghosts. Ghosts are complicated. I'll have to explain them someday. Pretty underpowered. It was at one point a .357 Derringer, but useful. Cost me more than a year's salary. Sad thing is, when we go from corner to corner, we can't take most things with us. So for me, it's about finding the best deal, not the shiniest toy. Just remember though, these are still essentially demons. One starts talking to you about hanging out outside of work, politely decline. Number 3, normal sundries. In contrast to weapons, this is going to be your most dangerous area of the flea market. The main reason for this is bargain hunters. What's that? Another spooky creature? No, actually. God, I don't even want to talk about them. I want you to wrap your brain around something. Really let this sink in. These are people who found out all these steps, took all these fucking risks, not because their family was killed and they wanted a weapon to take revenge, not because they were cursed from some pissed off entity and can only eat human eyes. No, some people are so completely, utterly, mind-bendingly dim that they did all this for a fucking bargain. You will pick these idiots out right away, looking like a knob with a confidence that is neither earned nor respected, and always, just always, with a big old handgun in full view, like a dick. I assume you understand my feelings on them. I don't want to say this, but help them. Get them out. When people get killed, it creates waves, and these idiots stumble around and make irresistible targets. But Sundries has just about every regular thing you could imagine, at prices that are often pennies on the dollar. The thing is, for a lot of entities, stealing is instant, easy, and consequence-free. For the effort of a blink, they can get a $6,000 television. They sell it to you for $60. Everyone's happy. Danger here is getting mistaken for a bargain hunter. You need to be cool and don't take any shit. Don't pay anything over 10% of the item's cost, and always try to bargain down. Number 4, paranormal sundries. Potion ingredients, televisions that pick up programming from alternate dimensions, a juicer for souls. If it's found in an entity's house and it's messed up, it's here. Not to say you can't find good stuff, but think of it like shopping in the international aisle of the grocery store. You know what you like, you know what you're willing to try. The only difference is, one case you have a 2-kilogram jar of pork floss you enjoyed for exactly 3 days, and in the other, you may die. Last thing I need to talk about the flea market is the security. Should you be dim enough to try and steal, start a fight, or anything else that would get you kicked out of a regular establishment, you won't even have time to realize how much of an idiot you are. A long, many-jointed hand will come out of the security office. It doesn't come directly for you, though. It loops around pipes and benches. Anything it can find to make a strip more interesting, really. You will feel a tight grip on your ankle, and by the time you've registered this, you'll be flying backward at a speed that luxury cars could only dream of. And all those twists, turns, and loops it took getting there are going to bash, crush, constrict, and tear you to bloody chunks long before you get to the security office. You'd be surprised how many people try, though. You'll often experience a light misting of gore from high above, accompanied by panic screaming and ungodly banging noises as you attempt to find whatever it is you're looking for. That's all for now, folks. Next time, I think I'm going to explain why you shouldn't go back to school. As always, Andrew McRae. Thank you for listening. You can probably handle another horror story, right?